Hello, my amazing friend. I am Dr. Pruti Trivedi, and again I welcome you for the second webinar session for the stress management. We have learned that the stress management is nowadays in this coronavirus pandemic conditions, it's very important because to managing the stress, it becomes nowadays is our basic needs. So many people they may lost their job or they have already lost their job. Even few people they are one kind of under stress that what will be happen in the future. So one kind of the uncertainty directly or indirectly. Even for the school going children they are under feeling a stress because they don't know when their school will be started. So this kind of the stress is nowadays increasing day by day, and for that today's session is very much important. We have learned till up to yet that how the stress affects us. Just 1 minute, please. Yes, we have learned up to yet that how the stress affects us, the effect of a stress, what are the symptoms of the stress and responses of the stress in the COVID-19 conditions. Now, on the second part, we have already learned that what kind of the stress is there, how the person is feeling is stress and everything. But now in the second part, we are going to learn the types of the stress, models of the stress, which models you have to use to overcome the stress, and very at last very essentials and very important thing that is the effective stress management tips. So now let us proceed towards that. So we have already learned that our body, our mind, our emotions and our behavior, they all affect stress directly or indirectly. Sometimes, when we feel a stress, our body, we feel a headache, feel frequent, very frequent infections. Sometimes it happens that our immunity power has gone down, and we may get a chance of respiratory infections or some kind of the viral infections, and that may be one kind of the reasons of stress. We feel a fatigue, we feel a skin irritability and breathlessness and all. These are all the symptoms of the stress. Our emotions has also associated with the stress because whenever the person is feeling a stress or the person is under the stress, they may lose the confidence, more fuzziness, irritability, depressions, and these all are the symptoms of the stress. Our minds also feel sometimes worrying when the people feeling a stress. Nightmareness is there, negativity is there. Sometimes as decisions persons is taking. So these are all the symptoms related with the stress, and our behavior has also got affected. It may change. Some loss of appetite is there. Drinking more, kind of the smoking. They are drinking more, liquor. They are taking a more. Smoking they do very frequently. Insomnia is there when the person is feeling, sleep loss of sleep or night awakening. That kind of the thing has happens when the person is feeling under the stress. So now we will proceed towards the stress. What is basically the stress itself? The stress may be defined as a mental or a physical strength that resulting adjusting demands or challenges. There are four kind of the stress, that is distress, excess stress, hypostress, and hypostress. Stress is feeling of emotional or a physical tensions. It comes through any event or through it makes you feel frustrated, nervous, or angry. So in these COVID conditions, we observe that the persons are all very frequently are under the stress. I just met yesterday one doctor and just talking about that nowadays in these COVID conditions, the work of psychologist has increased. Then with a job or whatever, he's just telling that maybe now they feel that this is going to be aggravated, and the maximum patients in the coming futures that any of the doctors they do have his psychologist. So this reflects that the persons are nowadays going under the stress, and in some kind of the stress they are taking such kind of the decisions which is not required to take. or ideally should not take. But the conditions of their or their mental state is such kind of the thing that they are taking some kind of the unofficial actions or some kind of decisions. Uh, like Susan Rajput, what he did under the stress is taken, he has committed a suicide. So this is such kind of the very higher level stress level, and in that stress levels, the persons are feeling very, alone, and in that conditions, he is taking that kind of this, that kind of the decisions, and it hampers entire their family members and that society and everything. So it's definitely a loss of them. The types of stress, that is distress, a condition characterized by the emotional upset or a physical strain, that is called distress. Distress appears to be the type of the stress most people refer to in every conversation. So people they are telling, some of the people they are telling it's that they are accepting the conditions. They are telling that it is definitely they are accepting the situations what they are in, and so they are telling that I am under distress or I am stressed out. So it's now this is the time to introduce our code three. The code three is lifestyle. Lifestyle. I just request those persons who are seeing this webinar, means first and second webinar part, they are unable to go, and those people who wanted to get a certificate, for that we required a four code, and out of four codes, first code I have mentioned in my first part, second code I have mentioned in my second part, and on the third part, this is the code three, that is lifestyle. So another second parts or the second types of the stress is the X stress. Now, pleasurable stress along with the physical or mental stress is placed on the body. It seems to have a positive effect. Wrist walks, if for examples, if the person, this is the one kind of the stress the person is putting on his mind. For example, if the person is ambitious one, they want to achieve a lot many things in my life. For example, if I am telling that this year I wanted to achieve my sales turnover of 2 crore, so this is the target I have decided myself. And when I am deciding the target myself, this is one kind of the mental stress, or this is one kind of the mental messages that I am giving to myself every day. So this is called X stress, because this is a positive stress, and it should be there nowadays in this competitive era. But again, this is one kind of the stress itself. All the people, all the athletes we have seen, all the students, scholar students, those who are able to, appear a good in the NEET or very good like IIT and this IIM, like that kind of the competitive examinations or IELTS examination. So this is one kind of the stress they put themselves, and it is called X stress. But yes, it is a positive stress. Successful competitions of a large task, sensation seeking may be an extreme need of X stress. So this is X stress. Now third types of the stress is hypo stress. Hypostress is a condition involving too little stress, such as a boredom. This coronavirus, what is it? This is one kind of the hypothesis. Coronavirus stress during this lockdown, we are under the lockdown, and one kind of the uncertainty is there in our mind that what will be our future, or when, what are the changes now our life will be taken place. So this kind of the stress is there, and that stress is called hyper hypostress, and at last there is a hyperstress. Now, what is hyperstress? Hyperstress is a condition involving an excessive demand on one's capacity, coping ability. You know, in the cells, for example, if the person is not capable of doing a 50 lakh cell, and if I am imposing a 2 crore target, then it is exactly called a hyperstress. It means the person is not having that much efficiency to cope up with that kind of the situations. And even though due to his excessive, responsibility, you can say, or excessive demand from another. Many times in the organizations or in this competitive era, so many people they are facing this hyper stress, time limit, time boundedness. So this all thing is one part of the hyper stress. This is an integrated model of a stress. This is a psycho-spiritual, bio, and social. Now, what is a psycho-spiritual social model? In psycho-spiritual social model, this kind of the stress, each domain can influence others. If the person is ill, their thoughts may be disordered. Socially, they may avoid a people. So this is a psycho-spiritual social model disorder. Psychosomatic disorder or social anxiety disorder. This is one kind of stress. I just talked with one doctors previously that, sir, how do you say that so many people are under the stress, but even in the family, they are under the stress, but they don't come out to you directly, or they even didn't able to consult a doctors, or even they don't able to meet the psychologist, and they don't take an advice. He's telling that in the family member, if there is a five persons family members, they are living inside their home, there are the two persons who is dealing with the social anxiety disorder. So this is one kind of the social anxiety disorder, and it is directly or indirectly related with the stress itself. Now think of the last times you were in a car accident or in a near crash. Such kind of the thinking, sometimes it happens that the person is thinking continuously on the negative sides or something that bad affects to them. So this kind of the thinking or this kind of the feeling is directly or indirectly putting more stress in their life. So that is called a alarming stage. And this alarm stage, the alarm stage is often referred as an initial stage, where in that fight or flight. This is two ways. The person is either have to fight with the stress or a flight. Means आपको स्ट्रेस से फाइट करना है, या आपको स्ट्रेस की फ्लाइट में बैठ के आगे जाना है. So this is the alarming stage. Now this is the alarming stage for the persons. They are required that if they are feeling that kind of the stress in their life, उनको क्या करना है? Now there is a two ways. Either the persons required to fight with the stress and they just put some efforts, they put something positive in their life, they taking corrective actions for their life, and they just cope up with the stress, and ultimately they come out from the stress situation. Or second, the person has to fight with the stress. The person sits with the fight to the stress, and ultimately he become a victim of it. Now, physical, chemical, emotional changes occurs in response to stress, and we have already gone through, so no need to again repeat it. I would like to suggest the following psycho-spiritual response to face, especially in these COVID conditions. Coronavirus pandemic conditions is affect not only you directly, but it affects the entire the world. And everybody is directly or indirectly they are under the stress. Whether the person is from the America, whether the person is from India, China, Japan, whatever the country you are living in. But yes, uh, it influence you directly or indirectly, and it change your lifestyle. So I would suggest following psycho-spiritual responses to face COVID. First, a deep faith and total surrender to God's will. See, we don't right now. We don't have any other option except accepting that this is a fact that the coronavirus pandemic is there, and the person has to accept it, because sometimes it happens that the person's feeling stressed directly or indirectly because they don't accept the conditions, they don't able to extend, and one kind of the resistance is always there when the persons they are they are under the change. So the coronavirus conditions, we are required to change our lifestyles. We are on the lockdowns we have never seen. or we have never gone through that kind of the situation. So everybody, we have to wear a mask, and very frequently we have to use sanitizers and all. So this is such kind of the conditions we have never been previously, and this is it derives us a change. And when any change has happens, the resistance of the change is always there. So, first thing to cope out this COVID condition is a deep faith and total surrender to God's will, because this is the thing that has happened, and we have to accept it. If you accept it, and if you take a corrective measures, you will feel a little stress, and that is sure. Spending a time with God in the prayer. There is one survey that has happened that the peoples are under the on the last stage of cancer, and they are doing a prayer every day. And surprisingly, it is found that its prayer is working, and that report has also improving. So this is the power of a prayer. You believe it or not believe it, whatever you are telling, but whenever you are doing a prayer, it means there is a one positive message goes to your mind or your subconscious mind, and it works positively. So definitely, the God in the prayer it works. So let us pray all from our sides, from every sides, that let us pray that in these COVID conditions we all come out from it very, very early. Accepting the fact of our mortality. Yes. See, out of 1,000 people or 10,000 people, how many people first they get contaminated with COVID-19? Very few. If we consider 137 crore plus people, and if there is a 10 lakh, 15 lakh, they get a chance, if they get infections from COVID-19, the ratio is a very, itself is a very small. If you consider this 137 crore people, and out of it, if you consider that the mortality rate, it's hardly 2%, and especially hardly 2% to those who get infected. So this has happened sometime. I yesterday talked with one doctor, and I just tell he's telling that the mortality ratio is very low, and even in India, more than these mortality people, or more than the persons who dies from these COVID conditions, the chances of dying from the road accidents is much higher, and we have to accept it. Taking responsible precautionary measures means protecting yourself with the mask, hand wash, and sanitizers. Then and on only it will help you out to survive from these infections. Re-establishing contact with your family members, your near and dear ones. And we have to accept that this COVID conditions makes our nearer more near, and it helps us learning new things. This is a very important time. This is a very precious time. So I can say this is a once in a lifetime opportunity of getting a learning. If under the lockdown we are getting a time, this is the time to invest our time in a very effective way in the learning thing, because learning never stops, and lending a helping hand to the needy ones. Then one kind of the aura has created when you help the needy people. You feel satisfied, say your mind, you feel that you have done something good. And when you are feeling that you have done something good for the other thing, ultimately that good aura that helps you out, and that relieves a little bit stress of you. So survival to revival should be our strategy. Two objectives of these collections is to suggest directions, reveal a better world that could be born out this crisis of humanity. And second, to show hope in the midst of such who are suffering. So effective stress management tips. Now this is the time to get the tips, and I uh, just request those persons who are feeling little bit stressed. If they are using these effective stress management tips, then I'm 100% sure this is definitely work out from them and help them out to come out from the stress. First, identify the resources of the stress, reframe them, and start the stress journal. If the person's feeling stressed directly, indirectly, or they are feeling that that their anxiety level has increased, sometimes in the night times they just wake up and continuous, because every day more than 60,000 thoughts comes in the mind. So sometimes continuous one kind of the stress related thoughts comes in their mind. Sorry. So they just have to reframe it. They just have to analyze that in what thing they are under the stress, and then started to start the stress general, started to measures what are the things that enhances their stress level. Get organized. This is the one kind of the thing, because nowadays I have observed, especially to the teenage people and youngster people, they are not organized that much, and this is directly or indirectly increase their stress levels. Poor organization is one of the most common cause of stress. Structure approach offers security against out of the blue problems. So, what are the corrective measures we can take? Priority if he gives to their problems, and then after prioritizing objectives, duties, and activities makes them manageable and achievable. Uh, if they are managing everything as for schedules or a time, uh, that may reduce a little bit stress of them, and don't overload your mind. Organizations will help to avoid personal and professional chaos. So organize in the proper and effective way. Now, third corrective steps to cope up with the stress, and the third tips to fight against the stress is the practice of three A's. Now, what is three A's? Avoid, adapt, and accept. What the person is required to adopt, avoid, and accept. The person requires to avoid by saying no. Sometimes it happens that if somebody is telling us that do something for me, we are unable to say no. So art of saying no, he requires to learn, or she requires to learn. If you are not feeling comfortable with any of the things, don't worry. You are not telling no to that person. You are telling no to particular thing that you are not comfortable in. So don't never feel that you are not doing a good kind of the thing, or that kind of the thought never comes in your mind. Just to say no if you don't feel comfortable to it. And there is nothing wrong in saying a no if you don't feel it comfortable with. Now second is adapt the situations as it and adjust to your own way. With these COVID conditions, we are 100% required to accept the conditions what it is. And yes, we are required to adjust it, because we, until and unless we didn't get a vaccine of this coronavirus, we don't have any other options. We can take a corrective measures. We can use gloves. We can use masks. We can use hand sanitizers. Some of the persons who are in the medical field, they can use PPE kit and all. But yes, we all have to accept the conditions where all are right now in. So accept the reality and do not control the uncontrollable, and that will help you to come out from your stress. Now, fourth important tips, get moving. Put on some music and try some dance steps. Take a dog for a walk a cycle or grocery store, engage in gardening. In short, do whatever the things you feel you are comfortable in, and that that thing that you feel relaxed about it. So this is some kind of the things gets moving. Just to do whatever you love, and that helps you to come out from the stress. Another benefits of exercise is definitely that it improves your blood circulation level, it lowers your blood sugars, clears your mind boring thoughts, and provides you one kind of the positive energy. It improves the self-image. Uh, some kind of the self talk you can do when you are doing exercise, and it helps you out to find out the solutions if you feel under the one kind of the stress, makes you feel better to yourself and increasing social confidence. Now, ventilations at get connected. I have observed that many people in their home, they are not even opening a window, so there is no ventilation is there in their home. So that kind of the strains, when they are in the open air, often thoughts comes. But when they are not their family members, they don't get such kind of the open ventilation, it creates a problem. So a problem shared is a problem here. Develop a support network through friends or colleagues to talk with them. It's not always events that stressful, but how we perceive them. Now, manage your time better. How you can manage your time better? By making a list. You must be done, what should be done, what should like to do, cut a time wastings and learn to drop unimportant activities, say no or delegate. Now, planning and goal setting. Now, planning and goal setting is very important in managing stress, because our habits are planning or illogical planning, sometimes it increases your stress level. So, planning and goal setting will help you to come out from relieving a stress. Plan a day, set achievable goals, break some major projects, task downs in the achievable goals, set a milestones for the goals achievements, take a progress towards the goals accomplishments, and reward to yourselves. Don't forget to reward yourselves if you are achieving yourself. I must say that whenever you have any dream or whatever you wanted to achieve in your life, you just have to have a proper plan and the goal setting. And at last, if you achieve a goal, you are required to give reward to yourself. And that is the biggest gift ever you provide to yourself. And this will help you out because you are valuing yourselves. You have a full faith in yourselves and you are going out. So this is definitely will help you to come out from the stress. Another tips is just humor and laughter. The biggest medicines ever is the laughter. Laughter is the biggest medicines ever. So humor and laughter is there. Good stress reduces, applies a home at work, relieves muscular tensions. Humor and laughter improves breathing, pumps endorphins into the bloodstreams, the body naturals painkiller. लाफिंग क्लब बहुत सारी जगह पे होती है और सम पर्सन जिसका ह्यूमर बहुत अच्छा है हमारे पास आके भी बैठता है तो हमको अपना स्ट्रेस रिलीव लगता है। तो यही चीज है दैट इफ यू वांट टू if you want that your stress gets relieved, just be a part of a humor or a laughter. Maintain a balance with a healthy lifestyle. Now, this is the diets. आप जो कुछ भी खाते हैं पीते हैं उसका आपकी लाइफस्टाइल पे इफेक्ट रहता है। आप ऐसी चीजें ज्यादा तली हुई चीजें, ज्यादा मिर्ची वाली चीजें, तीखी चीजें ऐसा सब खाते हैं तो पॉसिबल है कि आपका गैस्ट्रिक डिस्कम्फर्ट लेवल बढ़ जाएगा और डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली आप स्ट्रेस फील करने लगोगे। सो योर डाइट इज वेरी मच इम्पोर्टेंट। डाइट, स्मोकिंग, अल्कोहल, वो तो बहुत सारी जगह पे बोला हुआ है और पता नहीं क्यों सब लोग उसको एडिक्टेड है, बट यस इट शुड नॉट बी देयर। इट मे लीड्स टू इंक्रीज योर स्ट्रेस लेवल्स। स्लीप डिसऑर्डर है तो स्लीप आप एफिशिएंटली 8 आवर्स का ले, 7 आवर्स का ले, वो ध्यान रखिए। जस्ट लीव लेजर्स, रिलैक्सेशंस, अल्ट्रुज्म and prayer and spirituality. These all are the tricks and tips that will help you to come out from the stress levels. Seek a professional help. Seek a counseling or therapist. This is such kind of the things where you feel a high level of the stress or where you feel that you are continuously having migraine problems or a headache. So this is the times to take a corrective stress. If the person is not taking a corrective stress or if they are unable to manage a stress, situation will be more worse, and then the persons don't know what he required to do. So there is nothing because हमारी सोसाइटी में ऐसा है कि अगर आप कोई साइकोलॉजिस्ट के पास जाते हैं तो ऐसा लगता है कि ये पागल हो गया है क्या, यही थिंकिंग रहता है ज्यादा। सो डोंट वरी इफ यू आर फीलिंग स्ट्रेस, नथिंग टू गो, और दुनिया का ज्यादा मत सोचिए, आप साइकोलॉजिस्ट के पास चले जाइए, यू विल डेफिनेटली कम आउट help you to come out from your stress level. उनको पता है कि आपका स्ट्रेस कैसे रिलीव होगा, उनको मेजर्स पता है, he will guide you, if you require medication he will provide you medications. बट आप बिल्कुल ऐसा मत सोचिए कि आप स्ट्रेस में हो तो दुनिया क्या सोचेगी या दुनिया क्या चाहेगी, उसकी वजह से आप साइकोलॉजिस्ट को कांटेक्ट नहीं करते। रेदर इफ यू टेक अ करेक्टिव स्ट्रेस, हो सकता है कि ये स्ट्रेस का जो इनिशियल स्टेज है आपकी लाइफ में कुछ आया हुआ है, उससे आप बहुत जल्दी बाहर निकल जाएंगे। और दैट इज अगेन with the help of the psychologists who are the expert in that. So seeking a professional assistance when needed is the sign of the strength. यस, ये एक स्ट्रेंथ है, ये एक पॉजिटिव थिंग है। और अगर आप वो करते हैं तो आपको बहुत हेल्प मिलेगा। आपको अपनी जो सिचुएशन है लिटिल बिट भी स्ट्रेस है तो उसको आप जल्दी बाहर निकल पाएंगे और आप अपनी लाइफ में रूटीनली सेट हो पाएंगे। Working with a qualified therapist, counselor, or other qualified mental health professional, or even a religious or spiritual heads whom you trust, can be one of the best ways to learn how to deal with the stress. और वो हमको हेल्प करते हैं। अगर आप कोई काउंसलिंग के पास नहीं जाते या आप कोई साइकोलॉजिस्ट के पास नहीं जाते तो आप उसके पास जाइए जिसको आपको फेथ हो। आपके कोई टीचर हो सकते हैं, कोई स्पिरिचुअल गुरु हो सकते हैं, आपके कोई फैमिली मेंबर्स हो सकते हैं जिसकी आप ज़्यादातर रिस्पेक्ट करते हैं। So whenever you are feeling under the stress, just don't be, introvert. Just go out, share your problem, and definitely you will find a ways to come out of it. How to manage your stress? We leave our mind, so our mind, changing a mindset is the first thing. You have to change your mindset. We don't live under the bungalows. We don't live under the duplexes or flats. But yes, we live under the mindset. So this is the times what you think you become. So you need not to worry. You just think, you put all the things aside and just think whatever you wanted to achieve in your life. So just be very much focused to your goal, your life, where you want it to, rather than thinking of much things that increase your stress level. Potentiality of a mind is unlimited and you all know this is the mind mapping. आप जो मन में जो सोचते हो, आप जो अंदर डालते हो वही चीज पॉसिबल है, and that is called a law of attraction. Whatever you perceive in your minds, whatever you are visualizing, what thoughts you are giving to your mind, ultimately it becomes. Because as I told you earlier, that everything in the life happens two times. First, it happens in the mind, and second, it happens in the reality. So, yes, this is our permanent residence, that is our mind mapping, and there is no constraints of a sequence with here. It is a vast space with unlimited area, and you know that. No matter how well organized your rooms, balconies, garages, and windows and everything. But yes, you are required to keep your mind neat and clean. You are very much clear about your goal, your life, where you wanted to derive your life. So this is one kind of the plantations required to do in your mind. This is a very beautiful rainy season, and as we are doing a plantations, I just hope that simultaneously along with the plantations, we do our mind mapping, we do our plantations of our minds with the good thoughts. Because if you're unable to do the plantations, this will be like your mind. जैसे वो एक मुचड़ा बोल देते कि this picture you can see, and that is where you keep things messy. Regrets feeling sucks in one corner, expectation suffers in the closest, secrets under the carpets, worries बढ़ जाती है. Comparison slips on the tables and complexes slipping on all bottom. So अगर आपका माइंड क्लियर नहीं है, इफ यू आर नॉट वेरी मच स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड, व्हाट very much clear that what you want in your life, ultimately your life will be like this. We don't want that your life will be like this. We just want your mind to be very much clear whatever you wanted to achieve in your life. You cannot outsource your mind and will and you how to make it or break it. Be aware. For these real homes of yours, you can't outsource your housekeeping. आपको आपके माइंड को क्लीन करने के लिए, आपके माइंड को मैप करने के लिए, आपके माइंड को प्लांटेशन देने के लिए और कोई नहीं है एक्सेप्ट योरसेल्फ. So see how much important you are and how much important the thing that what you are thinking is. It's very important. This is a very beautiful life, but don't waste it. Just plant it. Just plant with the good thoughts. Plant with a very clear mindset you are having. Plant with whatever you wanted to achieve in your life, with your dreams, with one kind of the challenge that you want in your life to take it, and that provides you a thrill, that provides you excitement, that provides you happiness, that provides you one of the challenging tasks. And when you reach it, you will get a lot of things, you will get a lot of pleasures and one kind of the satisfactions that you are living your life happily. So we are responsible for our own life behavior and creates our mind. You got to do yourselves to see the beauties around you when your inner being is stable. So be strong. It's all about the stress management. Create a stable mind, emotionally strong. A stable mind is like a hub of wheel. The world may spin around you, but the mind is steady. So now this is the time. Those who are want a certificate, this is the code 4. First code I have given in the first part 1. Second code I have given in part 2. That is in the stress management tips. And this is the third part. And third part I am giving third and fourth code. So fourth code is a smile, and when you live your life with a smile, I'm 100% sure you will come out of any kind of distress in your life. Just keep smiling. We have many stress, physical sides, psychological sides, and all are taking away our energies. We require really think that how much times we are giving, we are organizing our minds and ourselves. So it is called the mental status, and we require to fill it, are we required to reframe our mental status. We required to add a positive vibes, positive thoughts in our mental states, so that if something has happened bad in our life, something has happened, not a good or unexpected things has happened just beside us, even though if we planted into very good way our mind thoughts, we definitely come out of from it, or we find a solutions better. Keep your mind health and everything will be okay. So keep smiling like a baby. आपकी मुस्कुराहट आपके चेहरे पर भगवान के हस्ताक्षर है, उसको आप आंसू से धुलने या क्रोध से मिटने को मत दीजिए, यही चीज है। उसके साथ ही मैं अपना स्ट्रेस मैनेजमेंट वेबिनार शुरू करती हूँ। डोंट फॉरगेट टू सब्सक्राइब अवर चैनल एस के मीडिया टेक टीम, इट्स कंटिन्यूअसली वर्किंग और स्प्रेडिंग स्माइल्स, spreading positivity to the world, and hope this stress management webinar is very useful to you. This will help you out. I just wish that if you're feeling any kind of distress, by the end of this webinar, as I told you earlier, that you will get very important tips that how you will come out from this your stress level if you do have a little bit. So thank you very much. Keep smiling. Wishing you a wonderful day. Jai Hind.